Hello and welcome back to Everything Tumbler Tutorials. My name is Rebecca Escott and I'm a Tumbler designer. And in this fun little video, I'm going to show you guys how you can recreate this beautiful opposites attract design. Not to worry, everything that's shown in this video will be listed down in the description for you guys below. Okay, so diving right into this tutorial today, I am working with an AB Designs tumbler that's a 30-ounce tapered. This also has the screw lid. We'll get to that later. For now, you'll notice that I've already painted the tumbler white, so I've already used the vinyl tape to split this tumbler basically in half. Then we're going to go back in with another vinyl tape and split it in half again. So essentially leaving ourselves with 4 sections. And once you have 4 sections, you're going to want to tape off 2 of those sections that are basically going to be opposite from each other. Here you're going to see that I completely failed to tape off my 2 sections, so I'm trying to help you guys not make this mistake. I actually decided to use the Turbo Fast Set resin from Counterculture DIY to apply this glitter. This is Pretty in Pink, which is a holographic find from AB Designs. But I'm not doing the tack it method because this glitter is absolutely beautiful used as a glitter, and it doesn't necessarily have to just be used for the tack it process. Once I've applied the glitter to both sections that are opposite from each other, I'm going to tap off all that excess glitter and go ahead and remove the vinyl tape immediately. I'm going to let this go ahead and sit probably for about 2 hours because I have some cleanup to do that you can see on the white section. So once this is fully cured, after about 2 hours, I decided to go in and tape off my already glittered sections. Once it was safe to proceed, you now see where I'm going to go ahead and use the painter's tape to tape over my glittered sections. You'll also see where there was blemishes in the white paint where I had to sand down pretty vigorously to clean that up. Once I get the painter's tape covered all over my glitter, I was then able to go ahead and spray paint those other sections white and go right in with Angel Dust, which is a diamond cut glitter from AB Designs, to glitter in the white section. I do prefer to use the spray paint as my glitter method, but of course you can always spray paint this and cover up those blemishes, get a nice clean coat back onto that white section, and just allow that to completely dry, and you can use Mod Podge or you can also use epoxy to apply your glitter. But once I have this all taped up, we're ready to go, spray paint and come right in with the glitter. Once we have both of these sections glittered, we're going to go right in and remove the tape immediately. Once these 2 sections have completely dried, then we're going to go ahead and clear seal it with the clear seal from Rust-Oleum. Allow that to dry before moving on to the first coat of epoxy. Sadly, but no surprise, unfortunately, I had some bleeds and I needed to go back in using Mod Podge just to kind of touch up these sections because it was really important to have these lines as straight as possible. Once I was pretty happy with the lines, I then needed to go ahead and let this dry and reseal it with the clear seal from Rust-Oleum before moving on. For our first coat of epoxy, I'm going to be using the Artist Resin from Counterculture DIY. As with always, make sure you use your heat torch to pop any bubbles you may or may not be able to see. This epoxy will take about 6 to 8 hours to fully cure. Once your tumbler is cured, you want to make sure that you go in and sand everything down so that we don't have any glitter bits poking out. And you also want to go ahead and sand down that rim so it's nice and smooth. Once you've sanded down the tumbler, you want to make sure that you go ahead and clean it up with soap and water and get all that dust and debris removed from the tumbler. So once we have the tumbler all nice and cleaned, we're ready for our stencil. So this was a reverse weed that I did on the heart, and I just pulled this from Cricut Design Space. Kind of mocked it the way that I needed it to be, so long and narrow, if you will, just to kind of make sense on the cup. I didn't show you putting the stencil on. It's pretty much the same as the decal. You really at this point just want to make sure it's nice and tight up around the outer edge of where our hearts are going to be, and then tape off one section. And so basically where the white heart is now going to be the Pretty in Pink, which is the holographic from AB Designs. And it's now going to be opposites. Once I was pretty comfortable with the first glitter coat on both sections of the heart, I then will peel away and expose the other side of the heart. When it comes to removing the tape, just to expose the other half of that heart, in which we're then going to paint and glitter with the angel dust, I'm going to leave all that extra taping off around the tumbler just for incidentals. I don't want to risk messing anything up at this point. Once I have both sides of the pink heart exposed, I'm then just going to go in with paint and Mod Podge and go into that section and just use a paintbrush to paint in the other halves of the hearts. In order to have good coverage in this heart section here on the other side, I'm pretty sure I went in a good 2, maybe 3 times, allowing this paint to dry in between each coat. And that the coats could very much vary on depending on the color glitter that's up underneath, as well as the color going over this section. Once you have both of those sections of hearts glittered in with your color, it's now time to go ahead and peel off all of the stencil and this over taping. We're going to let this completely dry, and then we're going to go in with a clear seal from Rust-Oleum to lock in that glitter before moving on to the next coat of epoxy. For this next coat of epoxy, again, because it's primarily white, this tumbler, I have decided to use the Artist Resin from CCDIY. Remember, always use your torch to pop any bubbles you may or may not be able to see. Once you've allowed this tumbler to fully cure, after about 6 to 8 hours, essentially your tumbler is completed. Or you can go in with the nail tape or vinyl and stripe the sides and along the hearts, which is what I did. To give my tumbler a nice finishing touch, I decided to go ahead and rhinestone the lid. However, if you don't have rhinestones or choose not to do rhinestones, you can always glitter the lid to match the tumbler to give it a nice finishing touch. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial, and if you liked it, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials coming soon. If anyone has any questions or comments, don't hesitate to drop them down below. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.